Today's sponsor is Audible.com, a leading provider of spoken audio information and entertainment. Listen to audiobooks whenever and wherever you want. Hi, this is Ross Payton here with Role Playing Public Radio, and this is RPPR, episode 64, Adventures in Adventuring. And with me, as always, is Tom Church.
This is not my announcer voice. This is just me.
This is just you.
Just me.
Just you. So anyways, we're back, as we will always be back. We will be here until the end of time, or... our time. I don't know. Until 2012, yeah, because of the Mayan
at least
apocalypse.
till December of 2012.
Yeah, exactly. So, as we mentioned earlier, in the last episode, we'd be talking more about adventure design. This time about adventuring in campaigns, designing adventures for a long-term campaign. Hence the Adventures in Adventuring. But before that, let's have a little news. There will be a new ransom project coming up. I'm not quite ready to release it, but I will announce the title. It will be called Killsplosion. It's going to be a PvP focus. That's player versus player RPG, a competitive RPG. It's going to be a rules light, over the top, ridiculous action. I was inspired by this year's Gen Con, where I ran a 10-person game for RPPR listeners and players, whereas winner take all, only one man survives in a battle in the shopping mall of Carcosa, battle royale. Yeah, you were in.
It's not a very good mall.
It wasn't. Well, it was very useful for the people fighting in it. There was much death and violence. So Ian and Violet have been doing some art for it, so you'll get to see it when I have the ransom video up.
Of course, our group will do it, and you know how well our group gets along.
Yeah, exactly.
There will be much death.
So we'll what I plan to do with the Killsplosion ransom is the initial ransom will be for the playtest rules, which anyone who contributes to it will get to playtest in it and get to give me feedback on it. Then I'll release it as a free rules light RPG with art and as a PDF. And then if it's popular enough, I'll do future ransoms for expansions, that sort of thing. Also, there will be a secondary objective for this ransom that will be to get RPPR a new video camera, one that's a little high def and cheap, one of those cheap little high def camcorders, because there's some video projects we've been bouncing around.
Yeah, there are.
And we'd like to do them, but we need a little extra cash to do them.
Because then you're thinking our voices are great, but wouldn't we love to see the doughy bodies that go
We've got
with
faces for radio, as they would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, seriously, one of the ideas that we've wanted to do for a while is to do a sort of LARP version of Artemis Spaceship Simulator, which is a computer game meant to be land, but it's basically Star Trek if you had 6 laptops and each laptop was set up to a different station, weapons, and we'd all be playing different roles.
And with our group, and every member of the crew happened to be a borderline sociopath.
Yeah, we would all take turns at the different roles. We'd all have costumes. I will use the robot costume from Zombies of the World, episode 2, and so on and so forth. So it will be exciting and fun, but we need a camera to do that. One that's a little... I do have a video camera, but it's fucking bulky and old and, standard def. And you want to see us in high def, don't you?
Yes, you want to see. You want to see every genetic flaw on our face.
Oh, Tom.
It's like, my God, I can see every abscess and welt they've had since birth.
So we are trying to do that. We're going to also, of course, have preview actual play episodes for those of you who contribute. I'll be doing some paid playtest games over Skype for people who contribute. And there'll be other rewards, too. If there's any particular type of reward you'd like, let me know. We can work it in. So that's in the works. That will be coming up in the next few weeks. So keep an eye on that. So
totally.
Yeah. So, in other news, Zombies of the World is on sale this month.
Buy the book.
Yes, it's Zombies. October is Zombie Appreciation Month, and so all the ebooks are $2 off for $2.99 PDF or Kindle edition, and the print book is $5 off.
Buy the book
with free shipping, so $13.95. So go to zombiesoftheworld.com.
Buy the book.
Yes, and buy the book. So, finally. This episode, as you heard earlier, is being sponsored by Audible.com, and we set up a special URL for you guys where if you go to audiblepodcast.com/roleplaying, you will get a free 2-week trial of Audible, and you can get 1 credit, which is equal to 1 audiobook. And of course, I looked on there, they have Zombie Spaceship Wasteland, which is the Patton Oswalt audiobook we listened to on the way to Gen Con.
It was on the way back, and it pretty much made the trip back.
I thought it was
on the way back.
Okay, it was on the way back. So yeah, shit was hilarious. So of course you need a credit card to sign up for it, and if you
I'm actually a member of it myself.
Okay,
yeah, and I actually use them to get a lot of the like comedian personal books that I like. Most specifically, I mainly got it so I could get my own copy of America the Book, the audio book.
Right, from the Daily Show.
And easy as hell. Just I had the whole thing in about 4 minutes.
Okay, great. So
it's good service.
Yeah. So you've heard it from the man himself, Tom. It's a good service, and you get 2 free weeks and 1 free audiobook if you sign up. So check it out. That's audiblepodcast.com/roleplaying. So, and they're sponsoring this show for the month. So
we thank them for that.
Yes. So moving on to the topic at hand. So in this episode, we're going to be talking about adventure design again. But in this time, we're not going to be talking about style versus substance. We're going to be talking about designing adventures for a long-term campaign, how that's different from a one-shot. Now, and just sort of some topics that come up when you're running a campaign that aren't necessarily apparent when you're just sort of reading the rule book, sketching out ideas and that kind of thing. For me, the first thing you have to be aware of is that you can't run a game with all the rules if it's a sufficiently complex game. And by sufficiently complex, I mean it comes in a fucking big-ass book, which most RPGs, popular RPGs, come in a fairly large book, a few hundred pages of material. That's just the industry, that's just the standard. You want a textbook for your game for some reason.
It reminds us of college and the days when we were still free.
Yeah, something like that. But you have things, Eclipse Phase, GURPS, Dungeons and Dragons, especially 3 hardcover books. I can't think of a popular system that doesn't. I mean, there are obviously the rules light systems, but there's not many that you would actually run a campaign with.
No, most of the popular games
talents,
that I play, they come from a textbook.
And the thing is, they come up with all these rules to cover every kind of situation imaginable in a game. The thing is you can't, as a GM, you can't run with every single rule perfectly according to the rules. You are not a computer, and that's not your strength as a human GM, is not simulating every single aspect of this fictional rule set perfectly. And I know there might be some of you like, yes, I do. Well, screw you.
What about monster GMs like you?
Well, I don't. Oh my God! I mean, have you seen the comments on the actual play side? I break the rules frequently and ignore things, and I'm a horrible.
Well, I've always said if it makes the game fun, rules should be broken.
Right. So my point, trying to make it a roundabout way, is when you're running a campaign, when you're setting up the adventures for a campaign, you have to sort of pick which rules, what part of the rules you really want to emphasize, and which ones you don't want to emphasize. Now, like for example, encumbrance. That's a popular rule. That's sort of like most systems, everything from GURPS to D&D. I don't think Eclipse Phase does, but I may be wrong. I mean, that just shows you.
Actually, a video game example. I don't know if you played Fallout New Vegas.
Right.
Well, no. One of the first DLC pack, which was the one where you go to New Canaan and like Zion.
Yeah.
When you go, you can only have less than 100 pounds in your inventory when you go.
Right. But again, I mean, that's a computer. It can keep track of encumbrance while emphasizing everything else. You can't now. Now you look at the encumbrance rules. Now, are you really going to emphasize these? Or you
it depends on what I'm running.
Right. Well, there are 3 major approaches to this. For example, one is to take the RAW rules as written. Emphasize them rigidly, like you're a fucking lawyer or a judge. The second one is to only use them if they come up, i.e., I'm taking my player piano with me into the desert in this Western RPG because we killed everyone at the saloon and that's worth like $100. I'm gonna take the fucking player piano. How the fuck are you carrying it? I don't care.
I got a horse.
Yeah, exactly. The horse can carry all this way. Yeah, no. So
But why is the horse looking at me like that?
yeah, and then the third one is to say, fuck it, it's like, fine, you take your fucking player piano, the magic pocket that's common in, computer RPGs where your female barbarian in a chainmail bikini can somehow carry, 8,000 gold coins, 15 swords, axes, and...
Well, you're saying to me that it's not normal for someone to carry a small Fort Knox worth of gold on them?
Yeah, and just where is she hiding it? That's what I want to know. Anyway.
She'll tell you.
Yeah.
For a price.
Yeah. She'll buy it at a high price. So those are the three approaches. Rigidly, only when it comes up when it's very obvious, or just blatantly ignore it. Now, and the encumbrance rules, I'm just using an example. Now, when you take these approaches, this sort of sets the style or the tone of the RPG or the game that you're running. For example, if you're doing a strict survivalist kind of campaign, you want to emphasize the encumbrance rules because you want to make people have to make choices about whether they take this, piece of rope or they take this lantern or they take this bit of flint, that kind of like that heightens the drama because like, oh shit, this is important. These are major decisions I have to make.
And that also bring up that you realize some things you don't really think about have weight.
Right. Or they take up space. And so if that's something that's important to your campaign, you want to emphasize that and you want to design your adventures around that, where that comes up frequently. Like a classic thing is, in games where encumbrance is important, it's like, oh, here's a vast hoard of fortune. But because of circumstances, you're not going to have all the time you need to get what you want. So yeah, you killed the dragon, but all that army of goblins and orcs is right on your ass. What are you going to take before they show up and take the rest of it? So,
or even if you're free and clear, that's a lot. That's a lot more.
That's
gold.
practically an adventure in of itself.
And never mind the. Say you even have proper transport to get every last piece of gold in that hoard back. You are now the biggest target on the planet.
Right. Which, again, that's sort of emphasizing it. But obviously, if you're doing a standard D&D adventure, like, yeah, you have your bags of holding, your, and whatnot. So, all right, you shovel all the loot in, let's go. Except for the giant adamantium doors that are dragon-sized. You can't take them with you because they won't fit in the bag of holding. So that's sort of like only.
I wouldn't even be surprised if players called bullshit on that, too.
Well, then they'd be like, well, I smelt it. Fuck you. I'll make adamantium bars out of it. I take out my portable forge and do that. So, and then the third one is like, fine, you take the adamantium doors. Fuck it. I don't give a shit. Because you can't emphasize every rule perfectly. You can't emphasize every rule equally. And what rules you emphasize and what rules you don't emphasize sort of inform what kind of adventures you're going to do for the campaign. So, if you want a very political game, you want to emphasize the social rules, the social conflict, social combat, reputation, that kind of thing. If you're doing a very survival game, encumbrance, fatigue, hunger, thirst, that kind of stuff, is going to be very important. So that kind of emphasize. So the first thing in adventure design is you have to think about what you can do, what rules you can actually enforce and what rules you're going to kind of like not care as much about. Like in Eclipse Phase is a very interesting system because it's got a very simple mechanic. It's blackjack. You roll as high as you can without going over. Your skill number on a percentile dice. But the thing I found just playing in this game is that there are so many exceptions. Like, this in combat, there could be like literally 10 modifiers to your shot roll. Are you moving? Do you have a laser sight?
How far away?
The range. Are you wounded? Are you insane? Is your opponent behind cover? So there's like, all these different modifiers that can give you bonuses or bonuses or penalties on your shot roll. So there's a lot of shit. So what we found as we've been playing through this Eclipse Phase campaign, No Evil, is that, oh yeah, I forgot the modifier for this, or I did this wrong. So That and then Caleb sort of run with it. Like one thing Caleb's doing is he's not using the reputation rules as written. He's sort of modifying that we often have to burn reputation in order to get the things that we want, which is fine because he's making a choice. Because that's a little simpler. Because the reputation rules as written, a lot of people online are pointing out that's sort of like where the system's broken. If you have really high rep and everything, so you can just keep asking for favors forever and get rich from that. So. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't found any group of peers that would do that. Just no matter how much they like me, just give me everything I want forever.
Right. Well, I mean, celebrities, they would give you gifting salons or
gifting suites.
Gifting suites, I'm sorry. So there's that. So you're just not a celebrity, Tom.
No.
Yeah.
I'm not. Nor are you.
No, I'm not going to gifting suites either. So I'm just saying, we're not Patton Oswalt famous. So.
God bless Patton Oswalt.
Exactly. So, we're talking about this. I mean, you mentioned while we're preparing the show notes that the White Wolf, you've been in games where people, where the person running it kind of tried to emphasize everything or tried to do everything perfectly, which is kind of, my point is that's a mistake. You can't use.
Well, I will say you could probably do that with White Wolf if you're doing one White Wolf game. Like, if you're running a vampire-only game, I think it's a lot easier. But this game I was in, where
oh, yeah, the complexity between two...
Yeah, no, everything was allowed.
It goes up exponentially.
Yeah, everything was allowed, I think, except mummies and demons. This was this was a third ed World of Darkness.
This is before Requiem.
Yeah. So there were vampires, there were werewolves, there were wraiths, and if a lot of those rules, even just there were different versions of shape changers, like where spiders and where sharks. Even those don't mesh well together, because the rules, though the same, are just different enough in many places that it's almost a completely different game.
Right. Because that's the thing. If you emphasize everything, you emphasize nothing. I mean, the player. Remember, as a GM, it's not just your job to adjudicate the rules properly and fairly. It's also to make a compelling story. And I don't care how smart you are or how good you are at multitasking, there is a finite capacity in your brain. There's so many processor cycles and there's so much memory that lets you process different things as a GM. I mean, a book I read a while ago is How to Make War by James Dunnigan. One of the things he talks about is armies are structured so that individual officers never have more than 5 command elements at any given time, because if you have more than 5 different squads or battalions or divisions or whatever, you start to lose track. You can't keep up with everything as well. So there's only so many complex topics and elements that you can keep track of at any given time. So that's kind of the thing I'm talking about. So remember, every time you emphasize one thing, you're not emphasizing something else, and that's a decision that you have to make as a GM, and that's fine. You just you need to think about what you want to do, what interests you in this game. So I mean, you're talking like the one thing you don't want to do is get too heavy in the rules. I know there's some people that are like hero system and shit like that.
Oh God. Oh. May I just take a brief moment? I bought that book.
Oh, yeah.
And after an hour reading it, I thought, fuck, I don't have enough breadcrumbs to get home. I mean, Jesus, when a game that, a game where a calculator becomes because a necessary tool rather than just a help, something's wrong.
Yeah.
And I like math probably as much as the next guy, but damn.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
I mean, and
math.
to be fair, some people accuse of Eclipse phase of being that, like a character generation being too complex. I mean, we use a spreadsheet for character generation because not that it's not hard, but it's just long because there's a lot of shit to go through in Eclipse phase.
I wrote mine out longhand.
Right. Well, you're special. I mean,
I'm very special, Ross.
Yeah, but when you had to do free pre-gens for that one shot you want to do,
4 pre-gens, and yes, I totally used the spreadsheet then. Yeah.
Because that saves you time, and it does a lot of the work for you. So you, so when you're designing an adventure for a campaign, you have to think of all this stuff. So that's just before you even start sketching out the adventures. So what happens when you actually all right, here's the campaign, here's tonight's adventure. What do you do? So, when I do, I've talked about this before. I sort of come up with the sort of ecology where I come up with like, here are the main groups, here are the main elements in this little ecosystem. Here's the bad guys, here's the good guys, here's the neutral guys, here's what they're doing, and here's their agendas. And then I describe what the players know, their initial environment, and then I sort of keep track of what they're doing. And then, like, all right, the bad guys would react this way to the players doing. The neutral guys haven't even heard about that, so they're just going to keep on doing what they're doing. And the good guys are going to go try and send them help because they need help from the players, for example. And then I sort of, once I developed the initial thing, I base mine sort of on the rhythm of what the players do. The players do something, I react to it, then I introduce something else, and the players react to that, and it goes back and forth. Now, my problem as a GM is that I get in love with throwing in new shit. Like, like in the new Arcadia campaign, the Wild Towns campaign, I have, like, right now, we're much later than where the actual play is, obviously, and players recently said, "Oh, you've got like a dozen plot hooks, Ross, that we are trying to deal with." Like, and I'm like, "Fuck! I have so many other things I want to show about this universe that I've built up in my head. That and you're running around trying to put out the fires I've already set, and I can't burn everything else down."
Well, you set a lot of fires.
Yeah, I
Jesus. There are only so many fire extinguishers on Earth.
So that's sort of the thing as a GM, at least when I'm a GM, and I'm sure a lot of the listeners out there are the same way, is like, I just want to keep world building. I want to keep adding on. And I want to keep introducing new elements. Like, well, this is what I'm trying to do. This is the theme. So this would happen, and this would happen, and this would happen. Because like in the initial post I did for the new Arcadia campaign, I described all the shit, and I've barely gotten any of the things I put in the original post. So that's kind of my problem, is that I realized you can't just keep adding new elements. You have to finish the shit you've already started. And that follow-through is, I think, the real key to a campaign adventure design. You have to finish what you start. That's what separates a mediocre or bad campaign from a great, a legendary campaign. If players actually get to finish their shit, they love it. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. I mean,
no. It's I mean, we all have our things we're doing, and but I think we would actually be pissed off if we didn't get to finish them.
Right.
Because we've got unfortunately we've now gotten emotionally involved in it.
Yeah.
So now, like, Kairop's not going to be satisfied unless he can work things out with his son. And if that doesn't happen, then I'm gonna be like, I didn't succeed. And I'm looking forward to Jason and Aaron trying to kill each other.
Right. Well, honestly, that's pretty much every game they're in. So.
Oh yeah.
That's the same.
I hope Caleb. I want to see what happens with Caleb's shit.
Yeah.
We all want to see this, if it's not done, we're gonna leave that. Like, no, that was great. Except it's.
Well, I mean, like the New World campaign. Do you think that wrapped up well?
Oh yes, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everyone got their shit done. We essentially did everything we were supposed to, and I think we pretty much got the best ending we could out of all the endings.
Right. And I was pleased because I think I tried to wrap up every subplot, and I'm pretty sure I did. Listeners, feel free to correct me in the comments if I missed something. If you listen to the New World campaign and I missed something, please let me know. But that's kind of the challenge, is because even at the end of the New World campaign, I had all these ideas, and I was like, I want to do this, I want to do this. I have ideas in my notebook that I never got around to, because there's always going to be great ideas, especially stuff from other books, RPG supplements, and this is a cool monster, this is a cool adventure idea. But you can't just keep adding on. You have to finish what you start. I know your players, though, they're very kind of leisurely. They like that kind of thing.
Well, it's really we've gamed together for so long that it's in that group. Yeah, actually, in that group, for the first thing I do with them is they make their characters.
Yeah.
And when we sit down, when we finally total design wise, the first thing I do is I write out the copy on the back of the book.
Right.
What you can expect, like if you pick up this book or game and read it and or play it. Then I design down from there.
Okay.
But once it's done and we're all ready to start, the first thing I says, okay, tell me about your characters. And for some, especially some of the players in our group are not quite as adept at that.
Mm-hmm.
But with my group, with the other group I run for, they like to get into it. They still spend 15, 20 minutes telling me about their character.
Yeah, I can't see everyone. I cannot see everyone in our group doing that. So,
Well, okay, 15, 20 minutes is kind of exaggerating.
Okay.
But 10 minutes. They'll
Okay.
spend that much. At least what you get a lot said in 10 minutes.
Yeah, this is true.
And so then the first session is always that, and then a quick intro, because my players also really like, if we're gonna have a brand new group that we don't quite know each other, they don't know each other yet. They like the meet and the meetup, and we've gamed together for so long that we really don't have much friction when we first meet up.
Right.
So we get that done, but then as soon as that session's over, the next thing I do is take the stuff they told me and try to intertwine it with the story I've made.
Right.
I find that they'll go for plot points if they have something personal invested in it.
So, so when you're designing adventures, do you what are your goals when you're designing adventures for the campaign? Like, for me, I have my ideas and I want to see how the players react to them. Like, there's subplots, if they come up, that's fine, but I never make it what do you do?
I actually come up with about 8 to 10 things that are currently going on that I will give a hint at, but I always leave it up to them what they do. That if they decide to go this way, then I
suppose my main thing is, or what I was trying to get at is, do you design adventures more on what you want to do, or more? I mean, are you more concerned with satisfying your own desires as a GM to create and see what they do, or is it more you want to react to what the players have?
Actually, with me, it's the former.
Okay.
It's more, I kind of think of it, and I like to see how they're going to react with the stuff I made.
Okay.
That's just the way I do things with them.
So, as a percentage, how much of the material would you say is, totally original, main plot, or whatever, and how much of it is based on the players' backstories, based on what they do?
I'll say it's 65% everything I made up, about 35% their stuff.
Okay. I mean, for me, I'm similar. I think, I do more 70-30, maybe even 80 of main plot, because I like the subplots and everything, but it just, some players in our group, in the main RPPR group, are better about having backstories that synergize. We'll use the word, I know some people hate that word. With the main plot better.
Promote synergy.
Yes, synergy. I mean, Caleb's really good about that. He really develops characters that hook into the main plot really well, and it's really easy to throw his subplots into the main plot. Some players, it depends on the game, aren't so good at that. So if they don't have a lot of material written up, I don't really put that much effort into it. So I'm just trying to see how the players react to it. So, of course, then the main thing with an adventure, too, is you have to think about pacing.
And that's a primary difference with me between planning a one-shot and a campaign.
Yeah.
I definitely, well, of course, it's obvious, but the speed really slows down for me.
Yeah.
And I generally kind of have... I have different plot points, and I give them plot points that if they get enough of, they can actually assemble one of the main plots and go after it.
Mm-hmm.
So in a campaign, of course, I can do that I can space that out over many sessions. One shots, I almost kind of have to give them the whole thing and tell them to go, which has happened before. They are, and people in my group are a bit slower when it more calm and methodical role playing, really.
What what do you mean it?
Well, that they're more than happy to just kind of hang out in a location.
Mm-hmm.
If they go, in the case of a D&D game, they're going to the city to get the map that takes them to the Amulet of Yendor.
Yeah.
They can be happy for an hour just hanging out with different people at the tavern and talking with them.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they don't have any real clues about what they're doing, just any interesting people. And I'll try to. Well, first of all, when I describe the people in the bar, I'll have at least 4 or 5 in my head that I can actually give a name to and have a voice for.
Right.
And so they're the ones, I'll actually describe as and there's some humans, some elves. There's a human sitting off by the side wearing something. That'll just a little more description so they know this guy actually has a voice actor on him. He'll say something to you. But no, they're more than happy to do that for almost an hour. Just. Right. Until they finally hey, there's our contact. Well, we'll see you all guys later.
Yeah.
And then, of course, they'll demand that I bring them back later, people they met.
Yeah, our group is a little more plot focused. They tend to hone in on the action, or I tend to keep antagonized. I don't know. What do you say when I'm
No, our group is much more get the job done.
Yeah.
But I mean, we'll always enjoy the road to get the job done.
Yeah.
And we'll take advantage of things
Right.
like if you make the mistake of making an interesting NPC with a voice,
Yeah.
well, I hope you're ready to do that voice for a while.
Yeah, this is true.
But but yeah, with you, it's pretty much when we're there, like, okay, let's get to the shit and let's get it done.
Yeah.
And the more dilly dally we have, I think the crazier we get.
Yeah, this is true. The group is very rambunctious. For me, though, what the interesting thing is, one shot, you have the luxury of knowing it's going to be a one shot game, like one, maybe 2 sessions if it's one of Caleb's games. Caleb's at one shots, haha.
We made fun of you, Caleb.
Yes, take that.
Take that, Al Qaeda.
Yeah, so because there's going to be beginning, a middle, and end. It's like a movie. Now with a campaign, you never know when it's like TV, and you never know when it's going to get canceled, to use a metaphor kind of obliquely. Because campaigns, they have that problem of you never know exactly how long they're going to last. Or at least for me, we kind of just do it again.
Trying to juggle too many things at once.
Right.
Lost.
Right. Well, this is true. So, I mean, what about you, Tom? When you start a campaign, do you know how many sessions you want to do? Or,
I have an idea. It never is that, of course.
Well, I mean, give me an idea. What do you mean exactly? Like, I want this to be 6 sessions long, or I want this to last until the end of summer, or something like that.
Normally, it's about 5 or 6. If I have a campaign that I know where it's going to end, I know where it's going to end, I'll plan about 5 sessions.
Okay.
Now, normally it will come in a little under that, like maybe 4 sessions.
So like a month of role playing.
Yeah. But then again, there's like when I started doing the Gargoyles game,
yeah,
I kind of knew where it was going to start, and I had a vague idea of where it was going to end, but that game went on 3 years. Because the thing that happened with that game is I knew where I wanted it to end, but then I started getting all these kick-ass ideas of another ending I wanted to do much later. So I ended it and then jumped ahead a year and kept it going.
Okay. Now, if you had for me, I have no idea. Like, I just start a campaign and I just see where it goes. I have no idea how long. I don't even for a month. I don't know. For the most part, the Wild Towns campaign we started in January and we're still doing it. And I have no idea how long. I mean, I know how long this next tier is going to be. Tier I'm getting from D&D. I've sort of broken up. See, for me, for campaign design, that's another thing that's sort of crept up since the New World, which is breaking parts of the campaign into different tiers. Like, we first really did that in the New World campaign where we had
Heroic, Paragon, and Epic.
Yeah, Heroic, Paragon, and Epic, and that sort of changed the themes and the abilities and challenges and everything else. But and I'm sort of doing the same thing with the new Arcadia game, which is unusual, I guess.
Not giving anything away, we actually did save the world for the first time.
Right.
And which I wondered, do we get a badge or a merit badge or something?
You get an achievement.
Oh, we get an achievement.
Yes.
How many achievement points that buy nothing?
100.
Oh, God, that is awesome.
Yes. Well, I mean, in the No Evil campaign, we got dead canaries.
No, that's true.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, that was very clever, by the way.
Yeah, that was. We're making oblique references that you guys don't know about for years because I'm a jerk.
Monster.
Yes, I'm a monster. So for campaign design, I never know when it's going to end. Now I've had campaigns that. The reason I'm bringing this up is because a lot of campaigns, they just kind of die out and you're kind of like, fuck it. Because that's the thing of why closure is so important, because so many campaigns, I think, just, fade out or they end before their time. And so you never find out if you save the world or, I had that Hunter campaign that was based on Slender Man. There was never any closure on that. So we never got to stop Slender Man or anything like that.
I just assume we won.
Yeah. Well, it's Slender Man, Tom. Why would you assume that?
We survive.
No, why would you assume that? This is Slender Man. Again, this shit is real. Haven't you watched Marble Hornets?
Because we're awesome, Ross.
Well, you are delusional.
I've never actually seen Slender Man kill anyone, okay?
Well, he makes people disappear, Tom.
They could be in a better place, Ross. I have
really?
Place.
You really think that?
No, but it's possible.
Actually, haven't if you watch Marble Hornets, he drives people mad enough so that they kill other people. So
Yeah, I saw the murder.
yeah. Oh no, we're spoiling Marble Hornets for you guys.
Well, if it's been up for a couple of days, if you haven't watched it by then, it's your fault.
Actually, weeks by now. I mean, I think it's 48 or 49.
50.
Well, no, 48 or 49 actually had the murder in it.
Yeah.
50 didn't have the murder in it.
No.
So,
but it had more shit.
It had more shit. So
Yeah,
we're off topic.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And 50,
Deal with it.
something happened.
Yeah, something happened.
You should watch it to find out.
So, the campaign, you always have that fear that you're going to never be able to finish the story you're telling. So,
I kind of use that as an incentive to try to to do everything I can to make sure that doesn't happen.
I mean, has that happened to you? I mean,
yes. Oh yes, I have had campaigns that, and it's me that it's usually responsible for that.
Really?
Because what I think when I come up with a campaign, I think, oh, this is gonna be a great idea, and then after like 3 or 4 sessions, I realize I want it over. I had a
well, why would you want it over?
well. Mainly, it's because I come up with a kick-ass way to start things off. Like, first I have my idea.
Yeah.
Then I come up like, oh, this awesome way to kickstart all this shit.
Yeah.
But then it's I introduce too much shit too early.
Yeah.
And at that point, now I really, really want to get onto this other stuff, but I can't because I have to cover all this stuff, and I'm really tired of this stuff.
That's a problem.
And it is excrebated by the fact that my other group is kind of they're leisurely role players.
Right.
So the stuff that needs to be resolved often isn't resolved in a timely manner. So when I realize that it's going to be another 3 sessions before we finally get all this shit over with, and I don't, and frankly, there's points I just don't care anymore about that stuff that was happening before. I want to move on to this stuff. But I can't just end it because that would kind of be like, yep, it's a cop-out, it's over, it's all over. Yeah.
So what happens? How do you resolve it?
I pretty much just say, has anyone else got anything? Because, I'm done.
You're done. You just want to. You've canceled the show.
Yeah, that's pretty much. I said. Well, I'm a little more apologetic with them. Obviously, it's like, hey guys, I just kind of the best line I use. I kind of wrote myself into a corner here. I pretty much use that every single time.
Yeah, that's a common thing. I mean, that's what happened with the Slender Man World of Darkness game. That's why I haven't posted them yet, because it starts out pretty well, but by like 4 or 5 sessions in, I can't remember how long it went. I kind of realized I wrote myself into a corner. I realized I didn't understand the mechanics of Slender Man, or at least that I had created, I had pictured in the.
But then that other
World
game.
of Darkness.
But then that other game we did.
Yeah, the one shot.
Yeah, that was fucking awesome.
Yeah, I revised it afterwards, and I came up with a new mechanic for him to describe how he worked and everything. Because it's, again, as we mentioned, horror games, you have to understand the mechanics of the monster, because you can't just have him be in Deus Ex Machina. That shit's lame. Then you wind up with a movie like They, which sucks. So,
Seriously, it's like.
We're like the only people who even mention that movie anymore. Like, everyone else has moved on. Everyone realized it's bad.
It's like, seriously, fuck you, Wes Craven.
Yeah. So this is kind of the dilemma of running a campaign. The fear of like, oh my God, I'm going to do this and it's going to suck. It's going to turn into we're just wasted 5 sessions. But I mean, that's a risk, because otherwise, if you just run one shots, you're never going to have a great those legendary sessions where you have 10 sessions worth of killing fighting going through the dungeon, then getting the dragon, killing it, and saving the kingdom. I mean, that's the kind of shit you tell at tell to other people at Gen Con years later, and they're all like, yes, you killed the dragon. I don't give a fuck,
But you feel great.
Yeah, so
and it is all about you.
Yeah, of course. Exactly.
Fuck
no
them.
doubt.
It's like, fuck everyone else.
So these kind of things you have to think about when you're doing a campaign. You have to think about like what rules you're going to be emphasizing, what kind of how you want to stylize it by the rules, and then you have to think about the characters,
and then the plot point volume.
Yeah, the plot point volume. That's a good way of putting it. The main thing is you have to design your campaign. Also, as you mentioned earlier, design the campaign for the players individually. Your players are very leisurely. They like role playing. They like individually. Yeah. So I guess by now you've learned not to throw out too many plot threads too early.
Yeah, but it's still. I mean, I'm still grateful for the group we have here, because it is a completely different group.
Yeah.
And I still do not get used to it sometimes.
Yeah.
When I'm planning something for this group.
Yeah.
That's why I kind of think some of the stuff I run is a little hit and miss.
Right.
I think sometimes I nail it. And
right.
then
Divine
sometimes.
Fire. Yeah.
But then sometimes I like
That forest fire game.
yeah, God,
Another game I haven't posted.
yeah. Even I will say that's a turd.
Yeah. And we all have bad sessions. I mean, I just don't post them, so that's why everyone thinks we're so great.
Oh, such crap do we have? Such crap do we have?
So these are the kind of things you have to think about when you're running a campaign. So hopefully this gives you guys an idea about setting up adventures base them on your players. Think about the rules you're going to actually emphasize, and think about how dense you want the plot to be. How quickly can your players get through the plot? Don't finish your plot threads, god damn it. Don't keep introducing new material, because that's such an easy cop out, and that will just write yourself into a corner. I mean, I've almost done it several times, I think, with a new Arcadia, but I always restrain myself. Like now, I don't even prepare for sessions, because I just know, like, there's so much shit on the table, I'll just adjudicate what's going on. Like, all right, what plot threads do you want to take care of? All right, your sister, all right, we'll take care of that. We'll take care of that story. All right, fuck it.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, so... And so that way it kind of helps out, because once you get all the prep work out of the way, you can just like fuck it, sit back and relax and see the players go nuts trying to save.
Because we're there to also entertain the GM.
Yes, exactly. It's all about me. It's all about you, the individual person playing.
Exactly.
We're all selfish assholes. Yeah.
Welcome to America.
Yeah. So I think we kind of well covered this.
I think we did.
All right. So if you have any other comments about this, or about adventure design, scenario design that we don't think we've addressed, please comment and we can do another one. We'll try another episode.
This is kind of a big topic.
This is. So we'll have another. I think our next episode we'll do something more horror, since it is October and all that junk.
Shall we have another horror episode, Ross?
We should.
Shall we?
We shall.
Awesome.
And next up, Tom has another list of fictional firearms.
Yes, a different list that Ross will be commenting on.
Yes.
I noticed a lot of people were telling me stuff, mistakes I made on the guns.
Yeah.
And things that I should have put on the list. Well, I'm
not editing the episodes, Tom.
You shouldn't.
Yeah.
You better not.
No, I won't. That would be work, so.
Yeah, fuck. And I don't want you to work, Ross.
Exactly. Thank you.
I'm here. I got your back.
And then we'll have shout-outs and anecdotes more.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're back.
I thought I'd do it this time.
Oh my God, Tom, you threw me off. I'm
You're
all
lost.
discombobulated now.
So yes, I have another list, another top 10 list, because it's a good psychologically pleasing number. The 10 best dressed, 10 most wanted. 10's a good number.
Not on the internet. I've seen like crack. They do like six things that could turn you into a zombie. 7 reasons why the world is going to die. Shit like that. They
I'm
always
going
do
for
it
10.
All right. Be a traditionalist.
This list is the last list I did was yes, Ross, thank you. The last list I did was my top 10 cinematic firearms.
Yeah,
these are like real guns.
Right.
Well, this one is this is my list, my top 10 my personal favorite list of fictional firearms.
Guns that do not exist,
yes,
except in the fervid minds of Hollywood and
yes.
Nerds
Well, this one is
us.
movies and or video games. Is kind of what I'm doing with this one.
Okay.
So these are just my top 10. You may totally disagree with me, and some of these you might not have even heard of.
So no written ones? Nothing like Roland's guns from the Dark Tower?
No.
Okay.
This is just the guns I have seen with my eyes.
Ooh. So nothing from comic books?
No comic book.
All right, let's go. Let's hear 'em.
So, okay. Number 10, this one's a little obscure. The Time Bomb Launcher from Hudson Hawk. Now, I don't, like... Yeah.
The Bruce Willis remake?
Yeah.
Or no, that was the original
It
one.
was, Bruce Willis was in it.
Yeah.
About the thief. The CIA bad guys in the movie, at one point, have them tied up. Like, they knock them out, and they wake and they're tied up in this hotel room. And they bring out this rocket launcher type weapon that shoots. It has rockets, but instead of exploding on impact, they stick to the walls and have a timer on them. And all of the bombs are linked together to be on the same time, so they all go off at once.
Wow.
And this thing carries like 20 of them at a time.
Okay.
And so much. And at one point, two of the bad guys they fire and one of the bomb sticks to one of the bad guys' heads.
Yeah.
And there's some pratfalls and counties. They try to pry the bomb off. And then Bruce Willis and his partner take the rifle and use it against the bad guys at the end.
I see.
And it had no name. And yeah, some of these are also just things, my 10 favorite that I will remember forever. And that is one of them. A time bomb launcher.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. You watched that movie. You're admitting that in public.
I own that movie, Ross. I'm admitting
VHS?
that. DVD.
Oh my God.
It was $4 at Best Buy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know.
All right, let's
Total
proceed.
nerd, right?
Yeah.
All right. Number 9 is from a video game, The Fat Man from Fallout 3.
All right, yeah.
I'm sorry, it's a miniature nuke launcher.
Yeah, your first two weapons aren't even guns. They're just fictional projectile weapons.
No, they're guns.
No.
They shoot projectiles.
They shoot projectiles.
It's a handheld weapon that shoots projectiles, is what I'm going for here,
but
Ross.
explosive, not, any. See, now that
You are talking. I made that mistake of letting you do that.
Yeah. See, now that people have something else to comment about why you're wrong.
I don't give a shit.
Ooh.
I don't give a shit at all. All right. Fine. I think we're done with that one. You've said your piece.
I know.
Number 8.
You're pretty good about it.
Is this is from another obscure movie, the M1L1 Triple Pulse Assault Rifle from Deep Rising.
Wow. Yeah.
Now this is this same guy that did the Mummy movies. This was like an R-rated movie about a monster on a cruise ship.
Well, the Mummy wasn't R-rated.
No, but this movie was.
Yeah, I know.
And the terrorists, the thieves on board that go to loot the ship have essentially rifle-sized miniguns, is what these are. And I've actually memorized the commander is played by the same guy that did the Sphinx from Mystery Men. He's probably done some other stuff, but that's what I mainly remember from. Wes Studi was the guy's name. He's handing out these rifles. He's telling me, he's telling him that the stats of the weapon is like, he actually was 1,000 round capacity, auto cooling, watertight. And he's handing out magazines that there is no way 1,000 rounds is going to fit in here. And when they show this shell casings falling, these are not like tiny caseless shells. These are rifle slug cases falling from these guns.
An extra dimensional pocket is in that.
Yeah, and it's rotating barrel, and it's complete overkill for what they're there to do, which is just take over a cruise ship and loot it.
Yeah.
So of course they have we're packing weapons. We'll also kill monsters just on the off chance that they're there.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
But and the thing is, I've seen that same weapon used in even more ridiculous B action movies.
Oh, they kept reusing it.
Yeah, and I cannot remember the
prop
title.
departments, you whores.
But I will say cannot remember the name of the movie where I saw them. But Carl Weathers was in it.
That's really not narrowing it down.
No, but that's all I remember about this movie. I saw
And that gun.
Did
Carl Weathers use that gun?
He used that gun.
Was it Arrested Development?
It was not.
Oh.
But
Because he's in Arrested Development.
Yes, but I saw that. It's like I will recognize this gun anytime I see it forever.
You can make a soup out of that.
Exactly. Okay, number 7, the EM1 railgun from Eraser.
Oh yeah.
Never mind that I've actually looked up this on the IMDb gun weapons site.
Yeah,
and
Internet Movie.
And they have a whole thing on this gun of how it is scientifically impossible that this gun exists. Never mind firing a slug near the speed of light would cause a backblast that would essentially be like a small miniature half-kiloton nuclear explosion.
Did they actually say it went at relativistic speeds?
No, he says it fires aluminum rounds at nearly the speed of light.
That's what they say in the movie?
That's what they say in the movie.
Well, that's a relativistic speed, but
Yeah.
yeah. Wow, that's...
They say, first of all, the bullet would disintegrate upon instantly leaving the barrel. It would just be plasma coming out the other end. So
hey,
it would be like a steam gun at that point.
well, it's plasma. That's
But
pretty...
the back blast would essentially tear you apart.
Nice.
Yeah, But of course, there's a scene of Arnold bursting up through the floorboards, grabbing two of them.
Yeah.
And like Jesus fucking God.
I mean, railguns are possible, but not like that.
Well, at one point, Arnold's like, says, the smallest version I ever heard of was mounted on a battleship.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Wow. You remembered that.
I remembered that movie.
Wow.
I've memorized that movie, Ross.
I'm not surprised.
I am a terrible nerd.
I mean, Ghostbusters, I can understand memorizing that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's
Okay,
That's
moving
not
on.
even the best
No.
Schwarzenegger film.
No, it's not, but I will remember
Not even
that
the
gun.
best Schwarzenegger film of the 90s.
Yeah, but it had that gun.
It did have that gun.
All right, number 6, the M41A1 pulse rifle from Aliens.
Oh, yeah.
This
classic.
is actually a good fictional weapon.
Oh, yeah.
and
no
a
shit.
realistic.
No doubt.
good
Oh,
weapon.
my God.
And because what I like about it, I mean, it's like, you know, the movie takes place in like 22 something.
Yeah.
So it has, you know, the caseless ammo. It looks like a futuristic weapon built on a budget. That's
Yeah.
what I liked.
Yeah.
I mean, the paint was scuffed, and it fired advanced ammo, but it looked like this weapon had seen action.
Right.
It wasn't just, you know, it didn't have pointless glowing shit where they didn't need glowing shit on it.
Right. It wasn't chromed up.
No. And also, that's another thing. I've never understood weapons that have lights glowing from them. That'd be very bad if you're trying to sneak around something.
Yeah, no shit. No shit.
Like if your entire squad's carrying guns that have LEDs on them.
A lot more lit up than a rave party, yeah.
Yeah. But no, that weapon, I've even memorized the sound the gun makes when it fires.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty distinctive sound.
Yeah.
James Cameron was always great at set design and the aesthetic of the scene, of the look. I mean, he's a very meticulous director, and there's a reason why that shit is so well known and remembered, because, you know.
Yeah, that's what I love about Aliens. Everything was futuristic but built on a budget.
Oh yeah, no.
mean-
wait, was that James Cameron or was that Ridley Scott?
That was James. James Cameron did Aliens.
Did Aliens, and Ridley Scott did the original, right?
Ridley Scott did the original.
Yeah.
But anyway, number 5 is also another weapon from Aliens, the M56A2 Smart Gun.
Right.
Once again, just a badass looking weapon.
Did you ever get the Alien technical manual?
Yes.
You do have
Yes,
one
I do
copy?
have it.
Yeah, I remember reading parts of it, and they like talked about how the pulse, the smart gun tracking software was so advanced that some Marines encountered some enemy soldiers, and they shot them all, and they were all the shots were dead center mass, perfectly shot, and that spooked the Marines so much they disabled it, because they just didn't like the idea of it being so accurate.
So accurate that they would dull their skill.
Yeah. So they
But yeah, I mean, and also it was one of the best characters in the movie had it, Vasquez. From,
Oh yeah, no
my
doubt.
God, she's. I mean, I'm actually going to reference a Riffs book here, if you don't mind.
Sure.
It's the Riffs Adventure Guide,
Okay.
which Kevin Symbieta and a couple other guys wrote, basically building an adventure. And under the character archetype, the champion,
Yeah.
like Kevin Symbieta mentions that his favorite example of the champion was Vasquez from Aliens. So just the moment she screams "Let's rock" and opens up with that spark,
Yeah.
you know she's got the goods.
Right.
So that weapon, yes, I've seen prop versions of it at conventions.
Oh yeah, so have I.
that
There are cosplayers, there are groups of them. Like, they're not as popular as like the Star Wars people, with the 501st or whatever.
the Colonial Marines.
The Colonial Marines. Well, there's the Star Wars people. There's I know there's Ghostbusters organized, and then there's Colonial Marines. Yeah, there's Colonial Marine cosplayers. I saw them at Dragon Con when I went 2009. It was pretty crazy. So anyway,
honorable mention. It's not a carry weapon, but the robot sentries from Aliens, which you have to get the director's cut to see.
cut. Yeah.
Good shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, number 4, the alien pulse weapons from District 9. I cannot unlike a weapon that when it hits someone, they burst like a water balloon.
Yeah.
I cannot do it. And I think actually it was really smart of them to do that because it was a way to actually save money.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier just to blow a dummy apart. It's a lot cheaper to do that than
Do complex CGI disintegrations.
And it made the weapons memorable, especially the first. I mean, Vicus is the first person to kill someone, and he didn't mean to do it.
Right.
And the other aliens, like, I thought we said we were going to kill him. Like, it's like, well, you're shooting. He had a gun at me. I love he fires it's to save his own life, but even he's like shocked out of his mind about how powerful these things are.
Oh yeah.
And what I also love about them, they look alien, but once again, they look like something that was mass produced.
Right.
It's not a work of art.
Yeah.
Functional but alien. I like that.
Right.
All right. Number 3, the crotch cannon. Can be from Desperado and or from Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh yeah.
If you remember,
Robert
Tom Savini was playing Sex Machine, and from Dusk Till Dawn had a codpiece, thing that lifted up, and he had a pistol barrel and 2 speed loaders worth of ammo in this.
Yeah.
And in Desperado he shows or never uses it, but Sex Machine uses it in From Dusk Till Dawn.
Right.
And a crotch cannon. Seriously, when I saw, like, really, I was like, a crotch. Oh my god, that is so stupid yet so brilliant at the same time.
All right.
I swear, it was such a good idea. It almost broke the universe for me. Really, it was completely unfunctional. Would never work. But just the idea that they thought of it and decided to put it together.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good job.
Honestly, I prefer in Desperado, the original, at least the guitar case machine gun.
Yeah. That we could go ahead and mention. They're not on my list, but definitely worth mentioning those.
Yeah.
Well, there's the rocket launcher and the 2 suitcase machine
Yeah, I
guns.
like the suitcase machine gun. That seemed more practical. The rocket launcher just seemed a little over the top. But the machine gun, yeah, I could see that. You could put a lot of ammo in it.
Yeah.
You have to be really strong to carry it, and the recoil would be ridiculous. But it'd be a good way to lay down some suppressing fire.
Yeah.
So, it'd be inaccurate as shit, don't get me wrong.
But those kind of weapons, they're built for spraying.
Right. So, anyway.
Number 2, Deckard's gun from Blade Runner.
Right.
I felt I would be killed if I didn't mention this gun.
Right.
Because yes, I remember the first time I ever watched Blade Runner was with you at the midnight show at the Palace. And I remember I hated it. I hated that movie.
I know. That's when you were all Philistines. You didn't
and
get it.
Josh Yates was with us then.
Yeah.
I think. That's his name. That was the one time we were in sync because we were both like, no, I'm sorry. Well, it was actually 2 times we were both as Blade Runner and A Clockwork Orange. Frankly, I've watched those again since, and they were much better to me than other times.
Yeah.
Maybe I was too young at the time.
Yeah, you were.
I was a teenager then.
I was too.
Yeah, but you were also Ross Payton.
I know. Yeah, horrible monster. Anyway.
But I remember that. I loved his gun.
Yeah.
Because it was just futuristic enough to look like it belonged in 2019.
Yeah.
But just functional enough to know, like, you didn't spend a fortune on that.
Yeah.
It's just a gun you got.
Yeah.
And once again, it had the LEDs, which, maybe would work better in an urban setting where there's actually lots of light. So it was a good urban gun.
Yeah. One thing I liked about it, it's in Fallout. It's in several of the Fallout games.
Yeah. Well,
both, I think the original 2, and I think
it's in New Vegas.
New Vegas.
It's just called That Gun.
That gun. And it uses 223 ammo, the same as an M16.
Yeah, I remember. It's .223.
.223.
It's rifle rounds. Yeah, the M16's a 5.56.
Well, that's.
But it's a rifle.
It's 5.56 millimeter.
It's a pistol that fires.
That's equivalent to 223.
It's a pistol that fires a rifle round.
Right.
Yeah, I remember that. There's only one of them in Fallout 1.
Oh, okay.
In Fallout 2, it's a lot more common.
Yeah.
And it's not in Fallout 3.
Right.
But yeah, Fallout New Vegas, they have it in that too.
Yeah. It's a very distinctive gun. I liked it too.
And it's one of the more powerful weapons in the game.
Yeah. I used it in Fallout 1.
I used it in Fallout 2 all the time.
Yeah.
Until I got the Bozar cannon, which was the machine gun that fired that.
Right.
But yeah, it had to be on the list.
Sure.
And number 1 for me, an oldie but goldie, the BFG 9000. Now, I am talking about the Doom video game, not the movie.
Okay.
Well, actually, okay, I'll say this. The Doom movie was bad. No question there. They actually had the gun in it, but he never hit anything with it.
Yeah.
It was fired, I think, 3 times, and 2 or 3 times, and each time it hit wall. Well, thank God for that. We know this thing can kill walls, just dead.
It was a very bad movie.
Yes, but the BFG 9000, and I'm more talking, not Doom 3, just this is the original Doom game. Because, first of all, we were teenagers when we played it, and when we realized, oh wait, that's big fucking, oh my god, that game is dirty!
Yeah.
Okay, it wasn't quite as a teen nerdgasm as the original Duke Nukem 3D.
Well, in the original Dooms, it was BFG, when you actually got it, was a great escape button,
Yeah.
for get out of jail free card. Like, oh shit, I'm surrounded. Boof.
And the thing is, though, it wasn't even in the first, the demo, which was like episode 1.
Yeah.
You had to get the actual game to get the plasma rifle and then the BFG 9000.
Yeah.
Which is why everyone played the crap out of the first demo version, and you loved it. The rocket launcher, it was like a Gatling gun that was even cooler than Wolfenstein 3D. But then when we actually plunked down the money for the game, when we get into this number was Knee Deep in the Dead, The Shores of Hell, which was the second one, when you could first.
I never played him that much.
I remember.
Yeah.
When you the Shores of Hell campaign, I forget the level, but when you pick that thing up, what the hell is this? Like, and I love it. It says you got the BFG 9000. Oh yes. And the first time you pulled the trigger on that son of a bitch, you remember. It's kind of like the JFK assassination. You know what you thought the first time you fired that. I know. Yeah, and to me, that is probably the best fictional gun I saw that was early enough in my life that it really made a difference.
Yeah.
So to me, that is the best fictional firearm. The
Yeah.
BFG 9000. The big fucking gun.
Yeah. No shit.
Oh, ID Software, you are such geniuses.
All right, and with that, we will be back with some shout-outs and anecdotes.
Nice.
And we're back. And so we got some shout-outs here. I have some, so I'll just get through it. Well, Tom, you had one.
Yeah, I actually...
Well, actually, yeah.
Yeah, I'll start off. I recently bought a box set
Yeah.
of an old favorite show of mine from Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
Yes, I know, child. The Adventures of Pete and Pete.
Yeah.
I loved that show because it was funny in a way that I still find funny.
Yeah.
It was actually it was a rare show that had excellent jokes. Jokes that a kid could laugh at and actually an adult could laugh at the same time.
Yeah, it was a little surreal,
kind of like like all the parents, like all talking to each other, part of the international adult conspiracy.
Right.
Where they're sharing ways they make their kids go to bed earlier.
Right.
And, the younger Pete's hacking in, trying to figure out what the purpose of bedtime is.
Right.
But they make it such a spycraft thing.
Right.
And this was like the early 90s when this was out. So,
and then there was what was his name? The world's strongest man,
Artie.
Artie.
The strongest man in the world.
Strongest man in the world. Yeah.
Or Pete's Tattoo.
Yeah.
Or Mom's Plate.
Right.
All that stuff. Great stuff.
Good stuff. I am going to start off with Trues, which he's a DJ, electronic artist, electronic musician, who has a video that I'll be linking to, and it's basically pure 80s like synth style like movie music. I mean, it sounds like some 80s cyberpunk movie, and like the music video is pure 80s homage to Blade Runner, and mentioned that already, and all these other stuff, Commodore 64s and laser tag shit. I mean, it's great stuff. It's very mellow, very chillax. I actually bought the album, whopping $10 for the digital album. So Trues. So you had another movie you wanted to mention.
Do I?
Yeah. Also, it was one I wanted to see. Wow, I Sell the Dead.
Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah.
I Sell the Dead. It's definitely it's bloody and gory, but it's more of a comedy, obviously.
Yeah.
About like the adventure of these two guys, two grave robbers.
Right, the
steal
resurrectionists. So medical people can dissect them.
I mean, it's got some great people like Angus Scrim. I don't know if anyone knows who he is.
Yes.
The tall man from Phantasm.
Yes.
Still creepy, even in his 80s now.
Well, yeah, I think the age would increase the creepiness.
Yeah, but he's in that playing, like obviously playing a fiddle as he's looking at this corpse, and they keep running across. I think you'd like because they keep running across different kinds of zombies.
Yeah,
and every time, and the thing is, they get utterly used to the fact they're digging up undead.
Yeah,
so the first time it freaks them out, but later there's like, biter, hold that one down, come on.
Yeah, nice.
And it has what it. And there's this other clan of other grave robbers that I'm not gonna say, but it's a scene on a beach.
Nice.
And that's one of the funniest scenes I've seen in a long time.
We'll have to watch it. I'll
Yeah.
have to see that. I want to mention first. I recently got a Kindle. The refurbished ones are pretty cheap, and I've started experimenting. Getting some new stuff, and I found 2 ebooks that I've liked so far. I finished one called Z&A, speaking of zombies, which is a short novella. It's a 99-cent novella about a guy who survives a zombie apocalypse. And it's, he is a delivery truck driver, and he goes home, and he's one of those survivalist nuts. So he has an, fortified basement. He survived for 6 months, and shit gets worse and worse and worse. And it's a fun narrative. It was only 20,000 words, so it was a very quick read. I read it on the way back to KC.
Nice.
We went to the KC Royal Barbecue Festival last weekend. So,
by the way, he came in 3rd place out of 750 entries.
damn.
Now, you tried that chicken and the ribs.
Yeah, no, it was delicious. It was ridiculous.
Man's an artist.
He is the hog father.
Yeah.
So many pig puns. So, anyways,
Okay. Actually, this is off the top. I think we need to mention the name of one team.
yeah.
Slaughterhouse 5.
Yes. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not. They probably don't have a website, but yeah. When we went to this barbecue festival, 700 teams were competing. It was up in Kansas
And this
City.
was like from around the world. The best
yeah,
barbecuers.
and so many of these teams had like ridiculous pun names based on cows or especially
like
hogs.
Reservoir Hogs.
Reservoir Hogs, Slaughterhouse 5, and just on and on and on and on and on. And I was just thinking, if you're going to do that, you should make your name based on something totally unrelated, so people would remember you. Like Penguin Barbecue. What does penguins have to do with barbecue? Nothing. But now you remember that there's Penguin Barbecue, or Duckbill Platypus, or Geodesic Dome Barbecue. Like, they're not even edible. It's a rock, but, hey.
Dyson Sphere Barbecue.
Well, that's a little abstract. You can't go too high with the barbecue fans. I think they're kind of a little more salt of the earth types. I don't know. So,
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think Dyson Sphere is a little obscure.
Rusty
Tom.
Water Pump Barbecue.
That's a little. You don't want to eat someone who makes. I want barbecue from Rusty Water Pump. Like, there's like Penguin is. They're like innocuous. Like Rusty Water Pump. You're like, I'm going to get a disease from that.
That's why I'm not in advertising.
Yeah. So anyway, Z&A, that's a good novella. And then another one that I've just started. It's a full novel called Shadow of a Dead Star, and it's a sci-fi horror novel or police procedural. It's sci-fi, like set in the near future, and it's about a detective who is sent on a case to find. I've just started. He has to intercept. Just to give you an idea of what it's like, he has to intercept these princess dolls from Wonderland. Wonderland is the nickname for this place in the Asia where they have all these black market laboratories, cybernetic laboratories, and princess dolls where they take a street kid, a girl straight off the streets, fill her cybernetics to make her basically a pleasure, rip out her brain and put in electronics and make her basically a mindless pleasure drone, droid, something like that. So like, very evil, dark stuff. So it's $2.99. So if you're into dark sci-fi, it's been called. I haven't gotten to the Lovecraftian parts, but some people compared it to Lovecraft. So I'm in. So
Ross is all in.
Yeah. So that you might want to check those out. And the Z&A, if you like zombies, it's 99 cents. So if you have a Kindle, why not? Then a couple webcomics on the webcomic front. One I found is called Delilah Dirk, and it's a adventure. It's a great art. It's about an adventuring swordswoman who starts out in Constantinople or Turkey, and she picks up this it's a very convoluted kind of thing. It's a very European comic in the sense of like Tintin or Asterix or something like that. It's just flip through and look through the art. I mean, Jesus, it's amazing. It's like incredible art. So I don't want to spoil it because it's just ridiculous. So it's fun and it's a quick read so far. Next up is Monster Pulse, which is basically it's just started. It's got a very short archive, and it's basically kids have a part of their body turned into a monster that is bonded to them. Like the main character's heart she's a girl, and her heart turns into a monster. She's still alive, but the monster's outside of her, and it's still walking around. So she's still alive, but her heart is literally now a monster, a creature. And so there's another character whose hair is a monster now, so she's bald. So, and of course, there's an evil government conspiracy that is now, trying to hunt them down and capture them and all that.
Monsters
stuff.
and other childish things.
Yeah, exactly. Literally, like you can. I mean, not literally, not based on it directly, but it's as pure of a monsters and other childish things concept you could get without, just calling it that. So, and finally, I know I've mentioned this before in the show, but Hark a Vagrant, which is a webcomic about historical figures, Nikola Tesla and all these other stuff, and other various things. Very, very, very funny. One of the funniest web comics on the internet. Has a print collection coming out called Hark a Vagrant, and so order that because it's good.
And Ross says so.
Well, it's funny stuff. I mean, you should at least read Hark a Vagrant. Do you read Hark a Vagrant?
No.
Oh my god!
But I will.
You will. Good, because it's fucking awesome.
But not because you told me to.
Oh well, no. Doesn't matter what I say. It's just great. It's
how much did that hurt?
You're only hurting yourself if you don't read it.
Wow, how much did that hurt, Ross? To say like you don't have to do it because I said so. Oh my!
That's how important it is to me. It's not about me. It really is. It's just about how great that comic is.
Your nostrils are flaring.
I know. I have allergies.
That's
So finally, we have anecdotes and couple things. I just want to mention the Eclipse Phase game. The last Eclipse Phase game we're playing No Evil campaigns going on. In the previous session, there was a big battle with Exurgents. Several characters died.
And if you read the posts on the website, you know that I died and Aaron's character died.
But we retrieved Aaron's cortical stack.
Mine
not
was
yours.
corrupted.
Yeah, so you had to be restored from backups. You didn't remember anything. So I like the anecdote because it led to this hilariously awkward conversation where we restored you from backup as an info life, basically a virtual character in a symbol space, a virtual reality environment. So I make a coral reef that's very nice and pleasant, and I
kind of wake up, my usual cheerful self, it's like, oh, like Bartleby, hey, you look like you just went to a funeral. What happened?
Well, there's been some bad news.
I have good news and I have bad news.
Yeah.
And I said, custom dictates you render the bad news first.
Well, yeah, you died.
Okay.
But we stopped the Exurgents.
Oh, well, I was that's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
But you were corrupt. Well, you died. I actually spared you from the gory details that session because I didn't want you
to freak out more.
Because I had an idea. We were in a place that was synth-morph heavy. Synth-morphs are robotic bodies, so we could put your mind in a body. We wouldn't be able to get you an organic body, but we would be able to get you a robot body. But there was one company that built an octopus robot body. So
mainly for uplifts who have to go to a synth body.
Right. So I wanted you to ask them to do a sponsorship so you get a discount on it, and that way you would have a body to work with cheaper than normal. So I didn't want you to get freaked out so you'd be off your game when you negotiated that. So next session I'll be like, sorry about this, but I shot you in the head and I'd do it again.
And knowing me at that point, you did the right thing.
Yeah.
You want to hug her and be like, no.
No, I can't.
It's like, don't touch me.
No, actually, I might be doing well. You're in a synth-morph body right now, so I couldn't read your mind or anything. So, but yeah, I'd be like, I came from a bad place. I do bad things when I get threatened.
We all have our crosses to bear, my friend.
But what was hilarious about it, though, was that Aaron's character lost almost all of sanity. He was down to literally 2 points. And so he picked a permanent disorder, which was manifested as a guilt complex for letting you. He feels responsible for letting you die. So the entire session, he was like, I'm sorry.
And I'm like hugging him.
Yeah.
It's like, no, dude, no, it's not your fault, man. It's not your fault.
Yeah. So
whispering to him, trying to.
Yes. And we gave him a new robot body, and what's funny is it got blown up in the second game too for reasons that because
we recovered him though.
Yeah, we recovered his cortical stack again, so that was funny. But he handled that a little better.
No, but I like our interaction because it's like we're like now a team that's been together a long time.
Yeah.
And so we're all crazy in our own way, but we're used to each other's madness.
Yeah.
So much so that we can just, I was like, yeah, Bartleby's having a bad day. I'm just going to let him blow off some steam and bullets.
Yeah. When I get pissed, people die.
Be sure to do it outside.
Actually, it's not that. It's my character, I feel, because his background feels like whenever it's threatening, he just goes into a survival mode where nothing else matters than survival, and no matter what. We can get into that later. So that's the Eclipse Phase game. Now the new Arcadia game we're playing is coming to the end of the second tier.
There's some hilarity there too.
Yeah.
Like I got a great moment by asking a dumb question with it. They got a really great answer. Yeah. There's the kind of, without really revealing too much, the gathering of metahumans is underway.
Yeah.
They're having a big blowout party to start off the festivities.
Yeah.
And Kyrop gets involved with some supers showing techniques of flying.
Right.
And the star of that thing going on was this humanoid pterodactyl, fucking brilliant, that was named Terry.
Yeah.
Another brilliant thing.
Yeah.
And so Kyrop kind of has, a lot of people like him. Others kind of look at him as a sellout or a government stooge.
Right, because he made a deal and he had to beat up a bunch of protesters and stuff like that for the government.
Yeah. So
and round up illegal immigrants.
So, I'm getting...
He's a thunderbolt.
But I've done some good stuff, and we did just save the world, so that, that was kind of helping me out. But so I decided to, might as well show off my stuff, and so I started to compete with this guy. And we were literally tying every single time.
Yeah.
I mean, all of us doing phenomenally.
Yeah.
But we kept tying. And then at one point I asked, I was like, how old does this guy look? And it was Caleb, I believe.
No, it was Thad.
Thad had a great line, like, I don't know, make a paleontology check.
Yeah. And that was like, yeah, you get a point for that. Yeah. It's like, how the hell are you going to... I was thinking the same thing. It's like, how are you going to tell Tom? He's a pterodactyl. It's not like you can...
But let's just... by the end, we're great friends now.
Yeah, yeah. So
that's the way Kyrop.
And the great part about that session is, people are found out that the players have all saved the world from a giant asteroid. They blew it up, saved the day, went all Armageddon on them.
Yeah,
but Aaron flew around and there was a rock concert going on and went on stage and found out he had really devoted fangirls.
That's weird. Well, when you save the world, that tends to happen.
Yeah. Women were throwing his panties at him. They were flashing him, and Aaron was just, It
was kind of like greeting Iron Man from the second movie.
Yeah, except it was Aaron playing it, so he was mortified and embarrassed.
Yeah.
And it was hilariously awkward. When he went to a robotics exhibition, they were showing off the latest in robotics. I found out he still had,
groupies.
Groupies. That there were people cosplaying as him, women who were cosplaying as him, as sexy versions, bare midriffs and everything. And again, he was like, I'm going to fly away now. It was...
Yeah, everyone was having a great time, but him, it seemed.
No, he was having a good time. He was just role-playing, I think. So it was a
We're
great...
hoping at one point he's going to have sex in the game.
It turned into a John Hughes movie all of a sudden. American Iron Man too, so American Robot Suit. We'll go.
Well, if we were all in custody, it could have been like the Breakfast Club, except the principal is like the head.
Yeah,
some
exactly.
FBI agent.
Yeah, so
like coming storming in there. I heard a ruckus. Like,
yeah.
Can you describe this ruckus?
Exactly. So so that's kind of an update of what the campaigns are currently at. We're moving upwards and onwards. So I think that kind of wraps that about it.
I think it does.
So this has been episode 64, Adventures in Adventuring. And next time we'll have some more stuff about horror campaigns and that kind of thing. So
it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Happy October, people.
Yep. This is Ross Payton
and Tom.
We'll see you next time. If you want to listen to it, Audible has it. With over 85,000 titles in virtually every genre, you'll find what you're looking for. Get a free audiobook and a 14-day trial today by signing up at www.audiblepodcast.com/roleplaying. That's www.audiblepodcast.com/roleplaying. And one last time, www.audiblepodcast.com/roleplaying. Thank you.